Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Skill Up 26, where we learn something useful, improve our skills, and grow together. Today, we're going to talk about something that millions of people struggle with every day: English speaking. You may understand English when someone speaks to you. You may be able to read English articles, watch English videos, or even write English messages. But when it is your turn to speak, suddenly you may feel nervous. You may think, am I speaking correctly? What if I make a grammar mistake? What if people laugh at me? What if I forget the right word? What if my pronunciation is wrong? And because of these thoughts, you may remain silent. But here is something important you need to understand. You don't need perfect English to communicate effectively. You need understandable English, regular practice, confidence, and the willingness to make mistakes. Many English learners spend years studying grammar and vocabulary, but they still hesitate to speak.
Why?
Because knowing English and using English are two different things. Imagine someone who watches hundreds of videos about swimming but never enters the water. Can that person become a good swimmer? Probably not. The same thing happens with English. You can study grammar for years, memorize thousands of words, and watch hundreds of English videos. But unless you actually speak, you'll find it difficult to develop speaking confidence. Today, we're going to discuss some of the most common English speaking mistakes, why people make them, and simple ways to improve. And don't worry, this episode is not about criticizing your English. It is about helping you become better. So, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin. Mistake number 1. Translating everything from your mother tongue. One of the biggest problems English learners face is thinking in their native language and translating every sentence into English. For example, imagine you want to say, instead of naturally thinking in English, you first think in Hindi and then try to translate it word by word. You might say something like, I did not understand it. That sentence is correct. But the problem begins when you try to translate every sentence directly. Languages don't always follow the same sentence structure. A sentence that sounds natural in Hindi may sound strange when translated word by word into English. So instead of translating every sentence, start learning English expressions as complete phrases. For example, I don't understand. Give me a minute. Let me think. I'll get back to you. That makes sense. I completely agree. I don't think so. Could you explain that again? These phrases can become automatic. The goal is to slowly train your brain to think directly in English. Start with simple thoughts. Instead of thinking in your mother tongue and translating, I am hungry. I need water. I have to go outside. I am feeling tired. What should I do now? Practice thinking these sentences directly in English. You don't have to think complicated thoughts. Start small. Simple English spoken confidently is much better than complicated English spoken with fear. Mistake number 2. Focusing too much on grammar while speaking. Grammar is important. But grammar should not become a reason for you to stop speaking. Many learners try to construct a perfect sentence in their mind before saying anything. Someone asks, what did you do yesterday? And the learner starts thinking, should I use past simple? Is this verb correct? Should I use did? What is the third form? By the time they finish thinking, the conversation has already moved forward. This is one reason people understand English but cannot speak fluently. You need to understand the difference between learning grammar and using grammar naturally. When you're studying, learn grammar. When you're speaking, focus primarily on communicating your message. For example, if you make a small grammatical mistake but the other person understands your meaning, don't immediately stop yourself. Finish your sentence. Then later, learn how to correct the mistake. With practice, correct grammar will gradually become automatic. Remember, first communicate. Then improve. Don't wait for perfect grammar before you start speaking. Mistake number 3. Using the wrong verb form. Another common problem is using the wrong form of a verb. For example, I go yesterday. This is incorrect. A better sentence is, I went yesterday.
Why?
Because you're talking about something that happened in the past. Similarly, she go to the office every day. Should be, she goes to the office every day. And he don't like coffee. Should be, he doesn't like coffee. These mistakes are common among learners. The solution is not to memorize thousands of complicated grammar rules. Instead, practice common sentence patterns. For example, I go to work every day. I went to work yesterday. I am going to work now. I will go to work tomorrow. Practice similar sentences with different verbs. I eat breakfast every morning. I ate breakfast earlier. I am eating breakfast now. I will eat breakfast later. This kind of practice helps your brain understand how English changes according to time. Mistake number 4, confusing is am and are. This is another very common mistake. Remember this simple structure. I am, he is, she is, it is, you are, we are, they are. For example, I am ready. He is busy. She is happy. You are correct. We are learning. They are working. Don't try to memorize complicated explanations first. Practice these structures every day. You can describe your surroundings. I am sitting in my room. My phone is on the table. My laptop is beside me. The door is closed. My friends are outside. These simple sentences can become your daily English practice. Mistake number 5, confusing does, and did. Let's take a simple example. You want to ask someone, do you like coffee? For he or she. Does he like coffee? Not. Does he likes coffee? This is a common mistake. And when talking about the past, did you go there? Not. Did you went there? The correct sentence is, did you go there? Why? Because after did, we generally use the base form of the verb. So remember these patterns. Do plus base verb, does plus base verb, did plus base verb. Practice. Do you work here? Does she live nearby? Did you call him? Do they know you? Did you finish the work? The more you use these patterns, the more naturally they will come to you. Mistake number 6, using difficult vocabulary to sound smart. This is an interesting mistake. Some people think that fluent English means using difficult words. It doesn't. Imagine you're explaining something to your audience. You could use a very complicated word that your listeners don't understand. Or you could use a simple word that everyone understands. Which is better? Usually the simple word. Good communication is not about showing people how many words you know. It is about making your message clear. Instead of saying, I am experiencing an immense amount of exhaustion, you can simply say, I am very tired. Instead of, I would like to acquire additional information regarding this matter, say, I would like to know more about this. Simple English is powerful. So don't be ashamed of using basic words. Clarity is more important than complexity. Mistake number 7, speaking too fast. Some people believe that speaking English quickly means speaking fluent English. That's not true. If you speak too quickly, your pronunciation may become unclear. You may also make more grammar mistakes and lose control of your sentence. Instead, focus on speaking at a comfortable speed. For example, my name is Arun. I am currently learning English. I want to improve my communication skills because English is important for my career. You don't need to say everything quickly. Pause between ideas. Take a breath. Speak clearly. A good speaker doesn't necessarily speak fast. A good speaker makes it easy for listeners to understand. Mistake number 8, being afraid of making mistakes. This may be the biggest mistake of all. You may think, I won't speak until my English is perfect. But if you wait for perfection, you may wait forever. Every good speaker was once a beginner. Every confident speaker made mistakes. Every fluent speaker had awkward conversations at some point. Mistakes are not proof that you're bad at English. Mistakes are feedback. Suppose you say, he don't like it. Someone corrects you. He doesn't like it. Now you've learned something. Next time, you are more likely to say, he doesn't like it. That's how improvement works. So change your mindset. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, so I'm bad at English, say, I made a mistake, so now I know what I need to improve. That small change in thinking can transform your learning journey. Mistake number 9, trying to speak like a native speaker. You don't need to sound American, British, Australian, or like anyone else. Your goal should be clear communication. Having an accent is not automatically a problem. People from different countries speak English with different accents. Indian English, American English, British English, and many other varieties exist. What matters most is, can people understand you? Can you express your ideas? Can you participate in a conversation? Can you communicate professionally? If the answer is yes, you're making progress. Don't waste your energy trying to completely remove your natural accent. Instead, work on pronunciation, clarity, sentence structure, vocabulary, and confidence. 10. Mistake number 10. Using actually, basically, and like too much. Many speakers develop filler word habits. They say, actually, basically, I was like, actually, you know. These words aren't always wrong. The problem is using them repeatedly. Filler words can make you sound less confident and can distract your listener. Instead, practice pausing silently. For example, I think the main reason is
pause.
Lack of practice. A short pause is completely normal. You don't need to fill every second with a word. Silence for a moment is better than unnecessary words. 11. Mistake number 11. Saying myself ruin this is a common expression among English learners, but in standard conversational English, it is usually more natural to say, my name is Arun, or I'm Arun. For example, in an interview, good morning. My name is Arun. I have a background in computer science, and I'm interested in software development. That sounds natural and professional. Instead of, myself Arun, myself from Bihar, say, my name is Arun. I am from Bihar. Small changes can make your English sound much more natural. 12. Mistake number 12. Confusing since and for. Let's make this very simple. Use since for a starting point. For example, I have been working here since 2024. Since Monday. Since morning. Use for a duration. For example, I have been working here for 2 years. For 3 days. For 5 months. So remember, since equals starting point, for equals duration, you don't need to memorize complicated grammar theory. Just practice these two patterns regularly. 13. Mistake number 13. Confusing much and many. Use many with things you can count. For example, how many books do you have? How many people are there? How many questions did you answer? Use much with things that are generally uncountable. For example, how much water do you drink? How much money do you need? How much time do we have? Again, don't just memorize the rule. Practice real-life examples. 14. Mistake number 14. Pronunciation problems. English spelling can be confusing. Sometimes a word is not pronounced exactly the way you expect from its spelling. For example, comfortable, vegetable, Wednesday, business. Different development learners sometimes pronounce these words based entirely on their spelling. The best way to improve is to listen carefully to native and proficient English speakers. Don't only listen passively. Use listen and repeat practice. Choose a short sentence. Listen.
Pause. Repeat.
Listen again. Repeat again. Try to copy the rhythm and pronunciation. This is sometimes called shadowing. You don't need an expensive course to start. You can practice with educational videos, interviews, podcasts, and other English content. 15. Mistake number 15. Learning vocabulary without using it. Many learners memorize new words every day. They learn 10 words today, 20 tomorrow, and 50 next week. But after a few months, they remember very few. Why? Because they learned words without using them. Suppose you learn the word confident. Don't simply memorize. Confident means feeling sure about yourself. Use it. I want to become more confident. I feel confident about my presentation. Speaking English confidently takes practice. When you use a word in multiple sentences, it becomes easier to remember. So don't focus only on the number of words you learn. Focus on how many words you can actually use. 16. Mistake number 16. Not practicing speaking every day. This is probably the most practical lesson in this entire episode. If you want to improve your English speaking, you must speak. Not once a month. Not only before an interview. Not only when you meet an English speaker. Practice every day. Even 10 to 20 minutes can make a difference if you are consistent. And you don't always need a speaking partner. You can talk to yourself. Yes, literally. Look around your room and describe what you see. My laptop is on the table. I am sitting on a chair. My phone is charging. I have to complete my work today. You can talk about your daily routine. I woke up at 7 this morning. Then I had breakfast. After breakfast, I started working. Later, I went to the gym. This may feel strange initially, but it is extremely useful. 17. Mistake number 17, not H. Aving a daily speaking routine. Now, let's create a simple routine that you can follow every day. You don't need 5 hours. You need consistency. First 5 minutes. Think in English. Look around you. Describe what you're doing. Ask yourself questions. What am I doing? What will I do next? What did I do yesterday? What do I need to complete today? Try to answer in English. Next 5 minutes, read aloud. Take an English article, book, or a short story. Read it aloud. Don't just read silently. Pay attention to pronunciation and pauses. Next 5 minutes, listen and repeat. Choose a short English video or podcast. Listen to one sentence.
Pause.
Repeat the sentence. Try to copy the pronunciation and rhythm. Final 5 minutes, speak freely. Choose one topic. For example, my daily routine, my career goal, my favorite movie, my hometown, why I want to improve English. Speak continuously for 5 minutes. Don't stop every time you make a mistake.
Keep going.
After finishing, think about what you could improve. If you do this consistently for several weeks, you can begin to notice changes in your confidence and speaking ability. 18. The 5-sentence daily challenge. Here's another simple challenge for the viewers of Skill Up 26. Every morning, speak 5 sentences in English. For example, Sentence 1. Today, I want to be productive. Sentence 2. I have several important tasks to complete. Sentence 3. I will try to manage my time properly. Sentence 4. I am working on improving my communication skills. Sentence 5. I will not be afraid of making mistakes. At night, speak 5 more sentences. What did I do today? What did I learn? What went well? What could I improve? What will I do tomorrow? That's 10 sentences every day. 10 sentences may not seem like much, but imagine doing it for 1 year. That's thousands of sentences. And thousands of sentences mean thousands of opportunities to practice. 19. Stop comparing your English with other people. Another reason people lose confidence is comparison. You hear someone speaking English fluently and think, his English is better than mine. But you don't know how long that person has been practicing. You don't know how many mistakes they made. You don't know how many years they spent learning. Instead of comparing yourself with someone else, compare yourself with your past self. Ask, am I better than I was 1 month ago? Can I speak more confidently? Can I understand more English? Can I form sentences faster? Have I learned new expressions? That's the comparison that matters. Your competition is not another English learner. Your competition is your previous version. 20. What do you do when you forget a word? This happens even to fluent speakers. Sometimes you know what you want to say, but you can't remember the exact word. Don't panic. Explain the idea using simpler English. Suppose you forget the word umbrella. You could say, the thing we use when it rains. The listener may understand you. This is an important communication skill. Fluency is not knowing every word. Fluency is knowing how to keep communicating even when you don't know a word. So if you forget a word, don't immediately switch to your native language. Try describing it. This will make you more confident. 21. English speaking is a skill, not a talent. This is something I want every Skill Up 26 viewer to remember. You may think, some people are naturally good at English. Maybe some people have more exposure or more opportunities. But speaking is still a skill that can be developed. Think about driving. Nobody is born knowing how to drive. People learn. They practice. They make mistakes. Eventually, many actions become automatic. English speaking works in a similar way. At first, you may think about every sentence. Later, common expressions become automatic. At first, pronunciation may feel difficult. Later, your mouth becomes familiar with the sounds. At first, you may feel nervous. Later, you become comfortable. That's why consistency beats intensity. 20 minutes every day is often more useful than 3 hours once a month. 22. A realistic 30-day English speaking plan. If you want to take your practice seriously, try this 30-day challenge. Days 1 to 7. Basic speaking. Talk about yourself. Your name. your hometown, your education, your job, your hobbies, your family, your daily routine. Don't worry about complicated vocabulary. Days 8 to 14, everyday topics talk about food, travel, technology, social media, health and fitness, movies, education. Try to speak for 3 to 5 minutes. Days 15 to 21, opinion practice. Now start giving opinions. For example, is social media useful? Is AI good or bad for jobs? Should students use smartphones? Is working from home better? Explain your opinion and give reasons. This is excellent practice for professional communication. Days 22 to 30, professional English practice, self-introduction, job interviews, meetings, presentations, explaining a project, talking about your strengths, talking about your weaknesses, describing your career goals. By the end of the month, don't expect perfect English. Instead, look for progress. Maybe you can speak longer. Maybe you hesitate less. Maybe your vocabulary has improved. Maybe you're less afraid of mistakes. That is success. Final message for SkillUp 26 viewers. So, let's quickly remember the most important lessons from today's episode. Don't translate every sentence from your mother tongue. Don't wait for perfect grammar before speaking. Don't try to use complicated vocabulary just to sound intelligent. Don't speak too quickly. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't compare your English with someone else's English. Don't memorize vocabulary without using it. And most importantly, don't stop practicing. English speaking is not something you improve by watching one video. You improve by using the language repeatedly. Listen,
Speak.
make mistakes, correct yourself, try again, and repeat. Every sentence you speak is practice. Every mistake you make can teach you something. Every conversation can make you better. So, from today, make one promise to yourself. I will not wait for perfect English. I will start speaking with the English I already know, and I will improve step by step. Maybe your English isn't perfect today. That's okay. Maybe your pronunciation isn't perfect. That's okay. Maybe you make grammar mistakes. That's okay. The important thing is that you're learning. And remember, confidence doesn't come before practice. Confidence comes from practice. End statement. SkillUp 26. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of SkillUp 26. If this episode helped you, don't just listen and move on. Take one idea from today's episode and practice it today. Speak 5 sentences in English. Learn 5 useful expressions. Record your voice for 2 minutes. Or talk to yourself in English for 5 minutes. Small actions may look insignificant today, but when you repeat them every day, they can create a huge difference over time. And remember, you don't need to speak perfect English to start. You need to start speaking to become better at English. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't be afraid of your accent. Don't be afraid of what other people think. Your journey is your journey. Keep learning.
Keep practicing.
Keep improving. And most importantly, keep speaking. If you enjoyed this episode, support SkillUp 26 by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing this episode with someone who wants to improve their English speaking skills. We'll meet again in the next episode with another useful topic. Until then, learn, improve,
Grow.
This is SkillUp 26, and your next level starts with one small step today. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode.